We're talking about faith and prayer and the importance of praying specifically so God gets more glory. And last time I was sharing about the relationship between faith and hope. And I said, the classic definition of faith is Hebrews 11, verse 1, which says that now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. And I said that the way we can tell when we're in faith or whether we're in hope is by our language. If we're talking about things off in the future, God is going to do this, and I'm believing God will do this, and then we're talking in future tense, we're in hope. And the difference between being in hope and being in faith is that when we're in faith, we're talking about God has already done. God has done it. And we believe that we've received it. And we see this at play in another instance in Jesus's life. In Mark chapter 11, Jesus was hungry, and he comes on a fig tree. And he's like, hey, figs, yes, I want some figs. And it was the right time of year for the figs to have fruit. The tree looked like it was a fruitful tree. But when Jesus went up to the tree, there were no figs. And Jesus got frustrated and said, no one's ever going to eat from you again. And he walked away, and they went about their business. The next day, they came by that same tree, and the disciples were amazed because the tree was actually dying from the roots up. It was withered. And they were amazed. And Jesus said, why are you amazed? Just have faith in God. And Jesus said that if you believe in your heart, you can say even impossible things. But if you believe them, then you'll have whatever you say. If you don't doubt and you believe. That's pretty amazing. There's two components to that. There's the words we say. We have to speak it. Jesus said you'll have whatever you say. At the same time, we have to believe it, which means that we can't really fake it till we make it and just say it. If we don't believe it, if our hearts aren't in it, we're not going to receive it. But if we do believe and our hearts are in it, then even things that are seemingly impossible can come to pass because we have that ability in us with faith. God's wired that in us as believers, as followers of Jesus. We have faith. We can make impossible things manifest and actually come out of the spiritual realm into the physical realm. But it's important that we're in agreement and that we actually do believe what we say and we don't just say stuff on a whim, because what'll happen if you don't believe and you're saying and you're trying to make yourself believe even though you don't believe, you're trying to force it, you'll get disappointed because it won't work. And disappointment over time actually damages your heart. The proverb says that hope deferred makes the heart sick. And it's actually, you can actually kill somebody through repeated disappointment and hope. So you don't want to just say things and try to force it. It's better to get your believer up, to get to a place where you actually believe what you're talking about. And then when you speak, you'll have true power. And you'll see that thing come into the natural out of the supernatural. So how do you get your believer up? Well, faith comes by hearing, hearing by the word of God. You have to hear the truth of the Bible over and over and over again sometimes, and at some point a light bulb will go off. Is the best way to explain it. You'll just get a revelation and it'll come alive in you, that word, that truth, and you'll genuinely believe it. And once that happens, you know that you know that you know. No one can shake you off from it because you know it's true. And that is when you start seeing miraculous things happen. So many times people try to force it by just talking and speaking and making, but they never bother to get into belief first. And it's so much more powerful to take time to prepare your heart before you try to walk into a miracle. It just takes time in the Word. It takes time with those promises to just listen to them over and over again, speak them out, until it actually changes your heart. You know, Paul talks in Romans 12 about being transformed by the renewing of your mind. That's how we transform our heart, is we change the way we think, and that changes everything else that follows. So I encourage you, spend time in the Word, get your believer up, and then you can start praying and seeing amazing things, and you can get specific and see God answer down to those specific details. And next time, I'm going to tell you a little bit about one of the secrets of seeing your prayer answered, because Jesus also in Mark 11 there, he goes on to say something else that's really important when it comes to seeing our prayers answered. But we'll save that for the next video.